Okay, so this next bit is going to be done a little bit slowly so that you understand it. And it's all about bit streaming. Now, we have what's called a media server. So let's imagine it's like Netflix. And we have our computer here. So I'm going to just write C for computer. This is our media player. So I'm going to just label that media. Remember, I'm doing this without a pen. So that's why it's looking really weird. Player. We then have this here, which is called a buffer. Sorry, I rephrase that. This is our data, my bad. So our data flow. And this is our buffer. Spelled B-U-F-F-E-R. Now, let's have a look at how all this works. As we've looked at before, you watch a video, we want a video to come onto a computer, you've got the data which flows, you then got a buffer, and then it displays onto your computer. Now, as you know, the data flows using bitrate. Oh my gosh, this is so tedious. So it flows using bitrate. Now, for the delivery to the user from the buffer, so this bit here, it basically needs to have the same bitrate as what was agreed in the original planned transmission. So, for bitrate here, I'm going to just do BR. Needs to match the agreed bitrate before the data is sent out. So it needs to match perfectly. Otherwise, we're going to have the problems of what we looked at before. Now, the bitrate, when the data is traveling to the buffer, which is here, needs to be higher, greater than the agreed. So I'm going to do agreed here. So remember, you agree at the beginning before the data is transmitted, but when it's traveling to the buffer, it needs to be greater than the agreed rate. That's because, just in case there's any delays. So have you ever had a situation whereby you're watching a video on Netflix, your internet connection goes down, like your Wi-Fi goes off, but you can still stream and watch a bit of that video? That is because the bitrate is increased when it goes to the buffer, so it contains more data in the buffer, just in case there are delays, so you can still watch part of the video. Okay, now, something else you need to be aware of is the buffer has what's called low and high watermark. So we're going to call this H for high, L for low, and watermark I'm just going to write it once because it's going to take me like 9 years to actually write this out using my mouse. This is a laptop mouse as well, which makes it even harder. Okay, so watermark, high and low. And what happens is this. As we talked about rates of data, or data rates, or bit rates, or we'll use the terminology bit rates. As they're traveling, it's the media player which is in control of monitoring the buffer. So it literally monitors the buffer. And if there is too little bits inside the buffer, so let's imagine that none of this pink stuff is here. It's empty. And we've only got one little bit of data. Our media player will shout to Netflix, send more. And if it's full up, what the media player will do is it'll say slow down. Now, it's important to take this into account that the buffer needs to be large enough so that it never gets full up. We need to keep that into account.